Well, hi everybody, it's the Week in the Tackle podcast, the podcast where we get together on a weekly basis and tackle things in the world of football we thought were interesting. That's Brian Dunny Dunseth over there, MLS legend. I'm Renzo Rennick, does that work? I don't know. Not yourself. Renzo, I might start doing that. Sirius XM, TalkSport, etc. Right, this is our bonus show. So we're trying to do a bonus show every week whenever I've somehow evaded death for another week, and thus far I have. Plus things break, and this came to us after we recorded the podcast this week, so I did think it was worth us getting together, Dunny, to talk about it. By the way, if you're listening to this, the whole main podcast is going to be available to you on this particular feed. That's got a whole conversation about Lionel Messi and the big game in Baltimore. We talk about Spurs potentially getting relegated and the FA Cup weekend, the Fulham team selection, all of that. But for this, I wanted to talk about Rodri. Because this did annoy me a little bit, not only because he should be suspended for the West Ham game on Saturday, but also it's been a tough year for referees, right? And I do think we should be having a conversation about competence, and we should be having a conversation about VAR and all of that. But I really don't think we should be having a conversation about corruption. Unless you can prove corruption. I know I've had a bee in my bonnet about this for a long, long time.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Unless you can prove corruption, you've got evidence of it, I really don't think you can accuse somebody of it. Questioning someone's integrity as a referee, I think, is so far past the red line, beyond the pale, whatever. And that takes us to Rodri's comments. You may remember a few weeks ago, Rodri came out after a game and accused referee Rob Jones of not being neutral. That was in the 2-2 draw with Tottenham on the 1st of February. The Football Association said Rodri admitted a charge that he, quote, acted in an improper manner during post-match media interviews by making comments that imply bias and or question the integrity of a match official and or match officials. Rodri was angry Dominic Solanke's goal was allowed to stand after he appeared to kick through the leg of City defender Mark Gay. Now, he may well be right. We spoke about it, I think, on the show. I think he probably is right. There's certainly a conversation to be had. If you don't remember the quote, he said, quote, I know we want too much of the people and don't want us to... I'll do it again because it's Spanish, it's weird. But he basically says, too many people don't want us to win, but the referee has to be neutral. It's not fair because we work so hard. When everything is finished, you are frustrated. Again, it don't quite work because I'm not doing the Spanish accent. It's touch offensive.
No, but you can understand what he's saying.
But you get the vibe of what he said. But he basically said, people don't want us to win. The referee has to be neutral. Now, take it on face value. Yes, the referee has to be neutral. But the implication here is the referee is not neutral. I don't think, like, we're in this world now where people, we need to keep putting the stage directions in. And we need to make things really basic for people. Maybe we've all got stupider in this era. There's plenty of evidence to support that. However, that's evidently what he's saying. He is clearly saying the referee.
It was like a 2.5 minute rant. Yeah.
It's not acceptable. And he's been given an 80 grand fine, or for Rodri, like 3 days' wages or something.
No, I mean, he's 220 a week. So just to put that in context,
that's
220
Monday, Tuesday,
a week.
A bit of Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I just cannot believe this was not a more significant thing. This feels like a massive let-off. When someone accuses you, Dunny, of corruption, and they can't prove it, I'm sorry, I can't. You can't just let this go.
Well, I mean, I think in context, Daniel Farka, his suspension, how do you... And again, we do this broad stroke where we're saying like for like, or, you know, we have an affinity for trying to prove that things are like for like. But for me, I just went back and I watched the rant. A lot of what he's saying is factually correct, based on my opinion. My opinion, there's a lot of stuff, and you go back and that was a clear foul. It should not have stood. Went right through the leg of Gahey. So again, we talk about this all the time. Every player, every manager, they have this memory stick in their head that is only for the idea of things that have gone against them. Whatever reason, they have the you, and you. Sorry, Tim. They were quick in succession, so maybe it won't be as much work for them. But the reality is that all of these guys have created the idea of bias against them based on decisions or things that have happened collectively. And we talked about Pep Guardiola and the frustrations and the ban and all this stuff in our last episode. So I can understand all of this. But also, the emotion is literally at the surface because it's blood red. It's the red mist. And these guys are really, really pissed because at the highest level, their competitive nature is so extraordinarily high that it's tough for them to unwind. And if they feel like they've been undone, well, then the unjust comments will kind of follow. Now, the implication, I'm not sure if he's 100% implicating that there's a corruption situation in this. I think the fact that he went.
Well, then why are they not neutral?
Because I think when he says that they have to be neutral in these situations, he's pointing out that it was an unjust situation as opposed to the referees are out to get us. But that's a very, very, I mean, it's a gray area of words that you're starting to use.
If you are in court and the judge sentences you and you don't think that judge is neutral, you're saying, what? They're biased. You're saying they're corrupt. I just
100%.
Like he writes a letter, right? He writes a letter. I guess it's an email. They say letter, where he says, quote, "I wish to make clear I did not intend to imply bias or question the integrity of the match officials." That's in, I think, a second letter he wrote. The first one was, his words were misunderstood and misinterpreted by some media organizations, being us, I guess, inappropriate and fell below the standard expected, which is what he went on to say. But then he goes on to say, no, I didn't mean corruption.
It's also not his primary language, even though he's very good at speaking English. Just important.
Definitely do take that on board, that this is a secondary language, and I do absolutely think that should be part of it. But I think whatever happens here, the referee has to be neutral. I just think that what this should have done for me, these two letters, and I appreciate and I would accept that he feels sorry that he did this.
Yeah, he regrets it.
I absolutely agree that, and I would happily go with misunderstood and misinterpreted. I'm happy to take that. But I don't see how you interpret it any other way the word neutrality. The word neutrality, the word neutral is so key here. I don't think there's any other way to interpret it. You got angry, you made an accusation you didn't really mean, but when the accusation is made, even if rescinded, I think that the fine is fine. But I think what the apology should have done is make a 5-game ban a 2-game ban. I think that the only, you've got to find a way. If you're going to do punishments, maybe we don't do punishments. I don't know.
Accountability. Yeah, I get
how do you encourage that accountability? Because when Jurgen Klopp did this, I remember it when he sort of accused it against the referee when he was Liverpool boss, and I don't want to dive into that story. But I don't know. I can't remember it now. Sorry, Tim. Was it code? Was it? I think it was, wasn't it? I think it was. I'd need to recheck it all. That's a big beep. When anyone accuses this sort of thing, I just think an apology is the very least you can do. And that takes, going back to the sheriff thing again, it takes a 10-month prison sentence into a 5-month prison sentence if you feel remorse. It doesn't become...
and you're drawing a line. You're drawing a significant line that's not allowed to be crossed. And if you cross that line, then it's punishable. I get it, man. It's the same. I know we didn't really touch on it, but what happened at the Old Firm this weekend between Celtic and Ranger fans stepping on the field, instead of doing the deep dive publicly and saying, well, we're gonna look at the amount of stewards that were there. Stewards ain't tackling anybody. Yeah. We're gonna look at the amount of policemen that were there. Okay, great, that's cool.
Gonna hire MMA fighters to
grab everybody you can, zip tie their ass, and then suspend them for the entirety of their lives from going to any stadium in Scotland or sporting event in Great Britain. And on top of that, put them in jail.
Yes, assault is a prisonable offense still.
And by the way, did you see that dude that got ready? He was like, and then all of a sudden a karate kick went, whoop, it just knocked his ass out.
That was one of those things, just between us girls and the typing pool, that when you're on commentary, as you know, you're contractually obliged to say, be very careful. This is horrendous. We don't like to see things like this. This is awful.
The line's been crossed.
I have never seen clips sent around so much. Everyone wants to see it. Secretly wants to see it. Again, I don't agree with violence at all. However, it did.
If you step on the field, you deserve to get karate kicked in the face.
Yes, banned for life for all of these people. Absolutely, prison sentences for anyone who commits assault. But it was thrilling.
You know what? It falls like every night before we go to bed, the boys and I, we watch like a Fail Army episode on YouTube.
Yeah.
And my wife one
Yeah.
day was like, "Why do you keep allowing them to watch this? This is so stupid." And I was like, "Honey, these are points where I don't have to parent because it's so insanely obvious that these idiots are
Yes.
choosing to do this,
Don't do
that
this.
my children get to watch them do this without the jeopardy of them fucking it up. Sorry, Tim, and doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So, like, if there's a guy that climbs onto a roof and tries to jump off into like snow and lands and hits ice, well, they know, like, hey, that might be ice next time. Instead, like I'm gonna like bottle down this hill at 100 miles an hour on my mountain bike and see if I can hit this jump and fly across the street. Like, oh my God, his leg just broke in 8 pieces and bent the wrong way.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't do that on my bike. So, teaching moments as a parent.
Yeah, you would. I mean, you would hope that they would obviously know we're not going to do this. If you're raising idiots, I mean, that's your problem, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure they know. Please don't go on the field and assault people, just for
And
clarity.
if you do go on the field, please have the stewards be like former linebackers.
Yes.
And smash the person at full speed that's decided to run on the field. Because I think for me, I would enjoy that in my commentary because you would hear me go, "Ooh."
These are the kind of scenes that we don't want to see. We don't want to see this. This is
And yet we don't mind when this happens.
let's play a replay of it because that's how much I don't want to see this. Let's play that again. Send it to me. Send me the clip. I don't want to see it, but let's send it to me to make sure I don't see it by accident. A bit
amazing.
like we're over. I know we're off tangent now, but how about the Brazil Cruzeiro Atletico Mineiro? 23 people get sent off, and that guy who nearly gets pancaked in the head by a Hulk. He is like. I mean, again, banned for life, not cool. But if he landed on that guy's head with that downward punch, it'd be like Wile E. Coyote in the floor. Like his cranium would have exploded.
Did you see the one guy that was going to cock to hit Hulk and he stopped?
Yes.
It was kind of like
Wise.
it was kind of like when Adama Traore, when Joao Pedro pushed Adama
Yes.
Traore after Cucurella, and then Adama went at Joao Pedro, and he's like, "Oh my God, what have I done?" By the way,
Yes.
there was another clip, and I know we'll end it. I'm sorry, but this reminded me because I was sending it around to the guys. Internacional was playing Grêmio in Brazil, and the number 95, I don't know his name for Grêmio. He gets a water bottle, and he goes to act like he's going to drink the water bottle, but the Internacional player's right behind him, and he squeezes the water bottle. He's got his mouth open. He's like, and it's shot over his shoulder and sprayed the guy in the face. And then the goalkeeper comes running around, and it just reminded me of that I used to pull. Sorry, Tim.
Yes.
This is another
playground.
level of
Classic
this is another level of my Dunsethery. Okay, you ready for this?
Yes.
When a trainer would come out on the field and assess the player on the ground, whether my player or the opponent's player, I would immediately go grab the water bottle and I'd take a drink of it. And then when somebody from another team would walk over and ask if they could have a drink of it, I would have loosened the top of the water bottle. So where they would grab the water bottle and squeeze it, and the top would hit him in the face, and the water just and I'd already be walking away, completely innocent. I'd turn my back. I wouldn't even look because I knew it was happening, and I was going to enjoy the idea of imagining it happening while it actually happened. And the amount of times I would hear, "You motherfucker!" Sorry, Tim, behind me, and I would just keep a straight face and just keep walking away. Execution.
Great feeling.
I was really happy with my execution, but
Great
it just
feeling.
reminded me. That's who I am, Rennie. That's who I am.
That's who he is.
Dunny and Renzo.
And it's got you right to the top, hasn't it?
Right
Right
it's
to the
probably
top.
hurt me once in a
Right to
once
the
in a
middle
while.
top of your broadcasting career.
Middle top,
Middle
not the top.
Great place
Just
to
the
be.
middle. Right
Middle
there.
top keeps getting employed.
Very forgettable.
Top gets the big money, but then out.
Yeah.
Nowhere to go but down.
Oh, yeah.
Stay at the middle top. That motherfucker is Brian Dunseth. I'm Tom Reddy. Tim Horsey produced this
Sorry,
bonus
Tim.
episode, which was ostensibly about Rodri. Subscribe to Week in the Tackle, and we'll be back next week.